They say money makes money. But if that's true, why do the rich keep getting richer, while the poor struggle just to stay afloat? Think about it. A billionaire's wealth grows while they sleep. Stocks, real estate, businesses, all increasing in value without them lifting a finger. Meanwhile, the average worker trades hours for wages. And those wages? They barely keep up with rising costs. Rent goes up. Groceries get more expensive. Bills never stop. But paychecks? They stay the same. Or worse, shrink in value over time. Sounds unfair, doesn't it? But this isn't luck. It's not a random accident. It's a pattern. A law of wealth hidden in plain sight. Economists call it the Matthew effect. The idea is simple. Those who have will be given more. Those who have little will lose even that. It's named after a Bible verse, Matthew 25:29, where it says, "For to everyone who has, more will be given. But from the one who is not, even what he has will be taken away." Harsh? Maybe. But look around. Isn't this exactly how the world works? During the COVID-19 crisis, billionaires gained trillions. Stocks soared. The rich used the crash to buy more assets. But the middle class? Lost jobs, lost savings, forced to borrow just to survive. Same storm, different boats. But why? Why does wealth naturally flow to those who already have it? And why does struggle seem to cling to those who don't? This isn't just economics. It's deeper than that. It's about power, knowledge, control, and most importantly, the hidden rules they don't teach you in school. In this video, we'll uncover the secret forces behind wealth inequality. We'll explore ancient wisdom, modern economics, and the psychological traps that keep people stuck. And by the end, you'll understand how the system really works and how to use it to your advantage. Because if you don't learn the game, you'll always be a pawn in someone else's. Wealth has always followed a pattern. The few control the many, the powerful grow stronger, the weak fight over scraps. This isn't a modern problem, it's ancient. From the pharaohs of Egypt to the emperors of Rome, wealth and power have always been concentrated in the hands of the elite. Poor, kept distracted. Fed just enough to survive, but never enough to rise. And here's the real kicker. This wasn't just about money, it was about control. The ruling class understood something most people never realize. Wealth is not just gold or paper. It's knowledge, influence, the ability to shape reality. Take the feudal system. Kings and lords owned the land. Peasants worked it. No matter how hard they toiled, they remained poor because they didn't own anything. The land produced crops, animals, resources. But the profit went to the landowners. Sound familiar? Fast forward a few centuries. The Industrial Revolution arrives. Factories replace farms. A new kind of worker is born, the wage earner. Instead of serving lords, they serve corporations. And just like before, they don't own the factories, the machines, or the land. They rent their time, their labor, their energy. Now look at today. The same pattern repeats. The rich don't work for money. They own things that make money. Companies, stocks, real estate. They put their wealth into assets that grow over time. But the poor, they work. They trade their time, the one thing they can never get back, for wages that barely rise. The French economist Thomas Piketty proved this in his groundbreaking book, Capital in the 21st Century. He showed that wealth from capital, investments, property, ownership, grows faster than wages. Meaning, the rich get richer, the poor stay stuck. But here's where it gets interesting. This isn't just economics. It's psychology, it's philosophy, it's power. Ancient rulers, secret societies, financial elites, they all understood one thing. Control wealth and you control the future. This knowledge isn't hidden, it's just ignored. Schools don't teach it. Most parents don't know it. Society convinces you that working hard will lead to success, but hard work alone doesn't build wealth. Ownership does. So why don't people break free? Why don't more people escape this trap? Because the system isn't broken. It was designed this way. We've all heard it. Work hard, save money, and one day you'll be rich. But look around. Does that actually happen? Most people work harder than ever, yet struggle just to stay afloat. Meanwhile, the ultra-rich, they barely break a sweat, and their wealth multiplies. Why? Because the game isn't about how hard you work. It's about what you own. Here's what they don't tell you. Wealth isn't earned. It's accumulated. The rich don't get wealthy from paychecks. They get wealthy from assets, stocks, real estate, businesses. These things grow in value over time, making money while they sleep. The poor don't own. They rent. Middle class and poor are stuck paying rent. To landlords, to banks, to the government. Every month their money goes out while the rich collect those payments as passive income. Wages will never outpace wealth growth. This is the Matthew effect in action. If you already have wealth, it naturally attracts more. The stock market, real estate, businesses, all of these grow at higher rates than wages do. Take this example. If a billionaire earns 7% a year from their investments, their wealth doubles every decade without them lifting a finger. But if a worker's salary rises by just 3% a year, which barely beats inflation, they fall further and further behind. Thomas Piketty's research proved this. Capital, wealth, grows faster than wages. Always. And that's why the rich get richer while the poor stay poor. Here's the scary part. It's not just economics, it's mindset. The system conditions you to think like a worker, not an owner. You're taught to get a good job, not build assets. You're encouraged to save, but never to invest. You're told that debt is bad, except the rich use debt to buy even more assets. And the biggest lie of all? If you work hard enough, you'll make it. Wrong. The game was rigged from the start. The rich understand leverage. They don't trade time for money, they make money work for them. That's why when a crisis hits, billionaires buy more assets, while the middle class sells what little they have just to survive. During the COVID-19 pandemic, Amazon, Tesla, and Apple stocks skyrocketed. Billionaires gained trillions. Meanwhile, small businesses collapsed, workers lost jobs, and the wealth gap widened even further. Same world, different realities. So here's the real question. If the system is designed this way, can anyone escape it? If wealth creates more wealth, and the system favors those who already have it, why don't people just start investing and building assets? Simple. Most people never get the chance. The rich don't just have money, they have access. Access to information, access to opportunities, access to networks that most people don't even know exist. Meanwhile, the poor and middle class, they're trapped in a cycle designed to keep them working without ever truly getting ahead. Have you ever noticed how easy it is to get into debt, but how hard it is to escape? Student loans keep young people in a financial hole before they even start their careers. Credit cards offer quick cash, but bury people in interest payments. Mortgages and car loans lock people into lifelong payments. The system wants you in debt because debt keeps you dependent. The rich, on the other hand, use debt as a tool. They borrow money at low interest rates to buy income-generating assets. Instead of being crushed by loans, they make debt work for them. Society glorifies hard work, but only for workers, not for the elite. If you're an employee, you're expected to work long hours to earn your place. If you're an investor, your money does the work for you. That's why billionaires don't work in the way most people do. Warren Buffett doesn't clock in at an office. His investments generate billions. Jeff Bezos built Amazon, but now his money keeps multiplying whether he works or not. Poor are taught to trade time for money. The rich buy time by owning assets. The most powerful financial strategies aren't taught in schools. They're passed down in wealthy families, whispered in boardrooms, and shared among the elite. If you grew up rich, you probably learned about stocks, real estate, and business ownership early in life. If you grew up middle class or poor, you were likely taught to save money and get a good job. But saving alone won't make you wealthy. It just keeps you stable, while inflation eats away at your money's value. The real game is ownership. The rich own the system. They influence the economy, the laws, the markets. They make the rules, and those rules favor them. When inflation rises, asset owners benefit because real estate and stocks increase in value. When a crisis hits, the government prints money, which flows into financial markets, making the rich even richer. When wages stagnate, corporations increase profits, rewarding their investors, not their workers. It's not a conspiracy, it's just how money works. So, what does this mean for you? It means that escaping the cycle requires a new way of thinking. Because the rich aren't rich because they're lucky. They're rich because they play the game differently. By now you see the pattern. The rich don't just work for money, they make money work for them. They own assets that grow in value. They use debt strategically. They operate under a completely different set of rules. So how do you break out of the cycle? Step 1. Stop thinking like a worker, Start thinking like an owner. Most people are conditioned to believe wealth comes from a job, but a job alone will never make you rich. It just keeps you comfortable enough not to question the system. Instead, shift your mindset. How can I own something that makes money for me? Stocks pay dividends. Real estate generates rent. Businesses create cash flow. Even if you start small, the key is ownership. Step 2. Get out of the debt trap. Not all debt is bad, but the kind of debt you carry matters. Bad debt, credit cards, personal loans, car payments, anything that takes money from your pocket every month. Good debt. Debt used to buy income-producing assets, rental properties, businesses, or investments that generate cash flow. The rich use debt to build wealth. The poor use debt to buy things that lose value. The difference? One makes you money, the other keeps you trapped. If you're drowning in bad debt, your first priority is eliminating it, so you can start redirecting that money toward investments. Step 3. Invest in assets, not just savings. Saving money alone isn't enough. Inflation eats away at your cash. The price of everything keeps rising while your savings lose value over time. Instead, learn to multiply your money through investments. Stock market. Invest in strong companies that pay dividends or grow over time. Real estate. Own property that generates rental income. Side business. Build something that pays you, even when you're not working. Secret? Start early and stay consistent. Wealth isn't built overnight, but it compounds. Step 4. Understand the power of leverage. The rich never rely on one source of income. They create multiple streams. If your income comes from only one place, a job, you're vulnerable. But if you have multiple income streams, you have security. Examples of income streams the rich use: passive income, rental properties, stock dividends, royalties. Scalable income, online businesses, digital products, investments. Leveraged income, making money from other people's time, employees, freelancers. Think about it. Jeff Bezos doesn't pack Amazon boxes. Elon Musk doesn't build Tesla cars. They leverage systems. You don't need to be a billionaire to use this. Even small shifts like creating a side hustle or investing in a dividend-paying stock can start shifting you from a worker to an owner. Step 5. Play the long game. Most people chase quick money. The rich build long-term wealth. They buy assets and hold them. They reinvest profits instead of spending them. They think in decades, not months. The biggest difference between the rich and the poor? Patience. If you start now, learning, investing, building, you might not see massive results in a year, but in 5 years, 10, your future self will thank you. The rich aren't rich because they work harder. They're rich because they understand money differently. And now, so do you. The question is, what will you do with this knowledge? The game of wealth isn't about luck. It's about knowledge. For centuries, the rich have played by one set of rules, while everyone else follows another. They own assets, not just wages. They use debt to make money instead of being buried by it. They multiply income streams instead of relying on a single paycheck. Meanwhile, the poor and middle class, they work harder, save what little they can, and wonder why they never seem to get ahead. But now you see the truth. You understand why the rich keep getting richer. And more importantly, you know that escaping the cycle is possible. You can continue thinking like a worker, trading time for money, hoping that one day things will change. Or you can shift your mindset, start owning assets, learning how money really works, and breaking free from the system designed to keep you dependent. Most people will never take action. They'll nod along, agree that the system is unfair, and go back to life as usual. But a few will take this knowledge and apply it. Which one will you be? The system isn't broken. It works exactly as intended. The question is, will you learn to play the game, or will you stay a pawn? If this opened your eyes, share it. If you're ready to take control, start now. Even small steps today can change your financial future forever. Because the biggest secret of all, the rich weren't always rich. They just learned what most people never do.